February 2009, a comic series. A small portion of the population learns of a new Peter, a darker Peter from a darker time. Finding himself perhaps in a place he shouldn't have been, Peter finds himself in a pickle, bit by a spider imbuing him with special powers. But not just any powers, spider, god-like powers. He used these powers to fight the worst of the worst, living through the Great Depression on into World War II times. But the weight of such a dark time can take a toll, and toll it did. Peter was a more violent spider god with vicious, brutal attacks and sometimes lethal force. But this wouldn't last. Peter was stronger inside than the darkness and dark times around him. Though he eventually found his way back to the light, he would forever be Spider-Man Noir. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and remember, I'll be posting a new video at least twice a week, if not more, and if that sounds of interest to you, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Now in this episode, we are taking a closer look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends 6-inch scale Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Noir. Alright everyone, and we are back. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. And there it is, right? The Spider-Man Noir, the Into the Spider-Verse version. Also came with Spider-Ham, right? I didn't really highlight too much about it, but we're going to take a look at him. But let's look at the back here. So what an awesome pose, right? Renderings, it looks like, of the two, which is totally fun because usually the renderings end up being quite the matchup. We've got, looks like, an alternate head and a little pistol that comes with him. General back of Marvel Legends things. Same thing with the side. We've got a little bit of artwork. These are actual drawings here. Let's see about the other side. And then we're back to renderings. Man, look at him. So menacing looking. Just so dark and brooding, right? Regular old Batman of the Spider-Mans. There's the bottom and top all looking pretty similar. I love that. The little graffiti spider. It's so cool. Okay, let's go into this one. And as I learned with Sharon Carter, it's best to come in from the side on these Marvel Legends ones, right? I do like to go from the bottom with most of these boxes, even other Hasbro. Oh man, look, I've torn it. Oh, see? And you gotta deal with both side and bottom on that one, so be mindful of that. Hopefully I don't need that blade anymore, because you may have just heard it hit the ground, and look at that, boom, first thing. There's that Hasbro pamphlet. We don't even have to look for it this time. It's just there, ready to come on out. And of course, with this being the windowless or minimal plastic packaging, we have the cardboard tray that pulls out. We've got one bag and two bags. Okay, and this bag is just poking through the sides, so we got to unhook the cardboard there to give it a little bit of slack. Gee, I wonder what's causing that. Nothing else to this cardboard, nothing else hidden in there. So obviously we know what this one is. We're going to put it to the side because we always save the best for last. So let's open this little bag and see what, look at this. I've got just paper shrapnel everywhere from these. There's very inconsistency that I've noticed, right? Some of the bags are sealed, some of them are open on the end, this one open on the end, but hey, that makes it easier. There's our boy Spider-Ham. I'm going to put him right there, and let's bring this, we'll start with old Pistola here. See if we can get a good, there we go, good focus of it. Good detail on that thing, right? Nice old school. I don't really like to get into the names of any of the weapons just for, you know, it's not always necessary. But those of you who are familiar with this type of weapon, you know what it is, you know what the name is, or what it is a likeness of. They did a very good job of sculpting it. This is another one of those where it would have been great to have a little bit of a wash on it to pull out those details. I say it every time, if you're going to do the effort, make us see it, right? Make it stand out, a little bit of a wash. I get it though, we're putting it in and out of grip hands, so I mean a strong chance is a lot of the wash would get wiped off anyway, but still it sure would be neat. Okay, so there's that. Let's take a look at this alternate head that we have. Okay, pretty cool. So no hat, right? And he's got those big Spidey goggles coming out. There's really not a lot of technology back in his day, so you know, you gotta have something going on there. And look, we've got, I can't quite tell what that is. It's causing a little bit of a shine. I don't know if it's just an imperfection. Almost looked like it was some glue or something, and maybe it is. I can't really tell from attaching these goggles on. They're kind of oozing out there, but I mean, otherwise, no real major standouts. I do see I've got, and this may be my own ignorance, but I've got this one is highlighted gray, right? So we've got a painted gray on that stripe there. Everything else is symmetrical for the most part, but this one is black. I don't know if that's intentional or not. You know what, let's visit the source a little bit here and see if we can get an idea. Do we have, Yeah, it is gray on the box. So a little bit of an issue there, right? Or just a mispaint, right? There's a little bit of gray right there. So it's not something that was intentional. It was just missed. An entire line across the side, and even right there on that, missed on this little extra head. So hey, you know what? If you get one, hopefully you won't suffer that same issue. Not a deal breaker. It never really is for me because it's an action figure, right? It's still a very beautiful face. But there we go. So those are our two little items for Spidey Noir. Let's look at old Spidey Ham here, right? What a fun character. I mean, talk about just not taking yourself too seriously, right? This is just one of those beautiful moments where comic writers and illustrators just, they know how to have fun, right? They didn't lose that. I mean, we're dealing comic books here. Looking at the articulation of him, right? So we got the head. Yeah, moves around on that quite obvious ball socket up there. The nose looks a little separate, but why would it be articulated? It's just from it being put in there. I imagine it's glued in place. Same thing with the ears. They don't really move, but they are kind of a rubbery, plasticky material. So, you know, not a lot to them. Just a fun little pose. How much can you really do with Spider-Ham without having just a ton of joints where he would be 50% joints if you tried to give him a whole lot of articulation. So just give him a head that moves around and give him a lot of attitude, and there you've got Spider-Ham. So what a cool dude. What a fun little sidekick to have in there. And I mean, what a great ad. All right, completely unnecessary, because if you look at most of the Marvel Legends figures, they don't come with a lot of accessories to begin with. So it's not like they skimped, right? And I mean, look at this. Just first impressions. Beautiful. Right, and you've got the fluttering trench coat constantly blowing in the breeze, right? How dramatic is that? Right here, we've got a working holster for the pistol that came with him. But let's look at some articulation flexibility first before we get too deep into it, right? So he's got the hat on here. Head, look at this side to side, very good, right? So very good side to side, up and down, not so good with the up, because it will force the jacket back. You see that? Like as I do it, it kind of forces the jacket back. But the down is pretty good, because if I turn him sideways, he's not just looking straight on. With the up, he probably could look upwards, but he is actually looking down if we look at a profile of him. So that's good there. Now with the jacket and with the hat, I don't have high expectations, but we made it. We made it all the way around, folks, without a lot of rubbing on the jackets along the popped coat collar we've got here. But yeah, we have Exorcist. Looks like the neck is, I can't tell if it's part of the torso or not. It is not, because there's a little bit of movement. You can see right here at the base of the neck, see that moves a little bit? It is not attached to the torso. So there we go. Nor is this collar. In doing that and trying to see whether it was, the collar is actually a separate piece. You see it kind of moving up and down there. So interesting, to make it look like it's that turtleneck or sweater that he's wearing. They added that little collar piece. Great little extra detail, right? So be careful with that when you're popping a head off, so that doesn't pop off and you don't notice it and it gets lost somewhere in the carpet or wherever. Just be mindful of that little piece. Arms. Let's see if we can see in here. No, I don't see. Yeah, I don't really see any butterfly action going on in there, but that is okay, because we still have pretty good flexibility, right? We're not really sacrificing a lot there, and I'm not pulling too hard to make it do that. I do have good rotation with the arm at the deltoid, or the arm, the socket of the shoulder, but it also have upper bicep and tricep rotation, double pinless elbow. All right, I like seeing that. So there's some good flexibility. He is a Spider-Man after all, even if it's a spider godlike powers, right? No forearm rotation there, but we do have wrist rotation, and by looking at the joint, it does have the back and forth ability, right? So not really a big wiggle around, not the up and down, but the back and forth capability. And same thing with most of everything that's going on over here. Let's see what we've got on the wrist here. Same thing, right? So you can see that joint right there, the back and forth and full rotation around. Here in the torso, we've got this seam where it's got the bend capability. Not too bad, right? It'll flex back a little bit, but flexes forward. I would have liked to have seen the other where it sits on pops onto a ball and has a little bit more movement to it, especially with it being a Spider-Man, even if it is Spider-Man Noir. He's a little bit darker. We've got hip rotation, which is good. We've got this holster attached here. Looks like it is pretty well attached. So that's good. You know, it's not going to easily pop off like we sometimes see on some things. And it's a rubbery material, so it's flexible. And let's just go ahead and pop this little fella in there. Now that goes pretty darn deep down in there, and there's no spot to push it out. So getting it out might be, yeah, it might be a little bit interesting. You can kind of hook right there on the bottom of the grip. But yeah, it definitely goes down into that holster pretty far. Legs, we don't really have the pull down, but they go out pretty well. The coat does kind of get in the way, but if we move it out of the way, we've got a little bit more flexibility. I would have expected a little bit more of a split for a Spider-Man, honestly. If we could have had that pull down function that we see in some Hasbro toys, that would have helped out a lot. Thigh rotation. Double pinless knees. Hello. Let's see if we can get that top one to bend. Yeah, pretty good flexibility. Not what I would expect from a Spider-Man, though. You'd think you'd be able to fold all the way over. But hey, who's asking me? No calf rotation. And we've got the typical foot up and down. And rotation for the good old twisted / broken ankle / singing in the rain. Right? Yep, there we go. Is anybody else? Do you have it in your head now? Okay, well, you know what? If you do, share it in the comments. Give us some lyrics to that song. It's a beautiful one, right? It's cheerful. But there we go. And then, of course, same stuff on the other leg. Let's take a tour around him, looking at some of the paint apps, right? So we had opportunities on the first head that we looked at, but as you can see, this one is totally fine. We've got that gray line completely painted. Even on the other side, also painted, and then no real opportunities here in the face, like the little dots that are on there on the mask. The eyes look pretty good, pretty clean. I don't see that weird glue spot in the goggles or anything like that going on. Let me turn autofocus off and just kind of take the reins here so it doesn't try and lose us. So yeah, no weird glue spots or odd things around the goggles for this one. Hat looking good. We've got the little almost, we want to say like pop art look that we have going on here. The little dots that show up on there to give it that look that we see all throughout the costume in random spots. So like here on the shoulders, here on the forearms, just those little pop art style dots, which is neat to see. The coat flows very well. I like that this the sash or the belt is a loose rubbery material. Let's get some focus working for us here. Boom, we'll put it that way. Loose rubbery material, just kind of draping down. There's always those fun things, right? Could this be soft goods with a wire? Absolutely. That would be fantastic to see. Would I have sacrificed that or Spider-Ham for that? I'll take Spider-Ham for having this, you know. But hey, again, maybe third-party creators out there with the Etsy's and the Instagram pages, maybe they've already got these in progress because it looks like a perfect opportunity for a wired trench coat for Spidey Noir. So just keep an eye out for that and check your favorite third-party developer. Okay, and then no real paint apps to really worry about. Some could have been applied to the belt, maybe to make it pop just a little bit more, but it is supposed to be a black and white style, right? And they nailed it with that, right? So it very much reminds me of what we saw in the movie. I can hear Nicolas Cage's voice as I'm looking at this thing. If I could mimic it, I would do it, but I can't. And I'm going to say me not doing it could be considered high praise. We got a little bit more of the pop art dots going on down here. And, you know, no real issues stand out with this figure. I think it's all in all definitely worth it. But there we go. That's our Spider-Man Noir. Beautifully made, wonderfully executed. Let's see how he stands on his own and how much effort it takes. Will he do it within a reasonable amount of time? Oh, there we go. And there he goes. Oh, and he's down. Spider-Man Noir falls down, but you know what? We're going to get some 360 poses and see if we get him to stand up the whole time for that. We'll be right back. And here we have our 360 rotation of the dynamic duo standing together. Absolutely well-made figure. I strongly recommend it, and I know it's been a bit difficult to get a hold of, but it is showing up on Target, so keep checking. They do keep popping up. That's how I was able to get one. If you can get your hands on one, definitely try. I know you'll enjoy it. Well, that about does it. Thank you for checking us out and for joining us on this collecting journey, as always. Look for a new video each week, if not more, and be sure to subscribe and click that like button. It would really help us out, and it would mean a lot to me. If you'd like to see some more videos, there are a couple of quick links on your screen right now for you to check out. But no matter what, thanks for taking the time. And we are all in this world of collecting together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.